Okay, and we'll keep the applause going, and we'll bring that Eric Bourgon to the screen. Hello, mate.
Yes, hello, Carl.
How are you?
Happy Friday morning.
Well, and happy birthday to you. Your
Thank
birthday
you.
yesterday, I believe. Parabéns, je vous say. Did you have a nice day yesterday?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very good.
Apart
Oh,
from
good.
any technology in the presence of my beloved girlfriend,
Oh,
my
best.
daughter,
Excellent. Good for
and the
you.
dogs, living life,
Living real life. Look at you.
real life,
You
exactly like April 29th. And I
What do
wrote
you
a
mean?
piece on that 2 days ago.
Okay, what happened on April 29th?
Well, remember this power outage,
Oh, the great blackout of
that one.
2025 on April 29th. Okay, tell us more about that. What were you thinking?
Well, this is the thing because when that happened, and you know, because you were present in Portugal, nobody was expecting such a thing.
Mm,
It was like, oh, all right. So what are we supposed to do then? It was pointless to reach out for your phone, pointless
yes.
to look for any type of electricity, no matter what. Nothing was working. And it was an incredible day to realize how much potential we have as humans
Yes.
out of the machine, right between us. Like, how do we deal with that? I will almost say, unfortunately, it was just one day. But after a few hours, I saw how people were able to adapt and
Yeah.
realize, hey, it's not the end of the world. It's just a new world, the
Yeah.
one we've been waiting for. It
Well,
was very powerful.
that's quite a claim. So, do you
Yeah.
think we need an intervention of that scale and kind to cause that to happen? We're not going to be doing it for ourselves. This presumably is your experience as Mr. DigiPause and encouraging people to unplug, as it were.
It's unfortunate to say that perhaps we will need that. It's when you
Right.
lose something that you have no choices but to adapt what's available around you, inside you and around you.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we talk a lot about boredom. And many neuroscientists have said, look, boredom is healthy for you. It helps you calm down your monkey mind, help you develop gray matters, or at least keep the brain functional and resilient. Now,
Hmm.
again, I'm not a neuroscientist. I will let people do their
Me
research
neither.
for that. But the point is, how often these days, us or kids, we 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 uh, we try to run away from boredom. This notion of nothingness. This is scary. I need to fill it up with more time online, scrolling, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the point is, how often do we sit with it by saying, hey, this is life. This is part of life. Boredom is just as it is. This is where you start to have your creativity, the flow comes in. Uh, and I think that events like what we had on April 29th are just a friendly reminder that
Mm.
technology is there to serve us, but we also need to remember who's coming first. And now that we're so seduced by I think it's important to talk about it openly so
Yeah.
that people can start to recognize themselves.
Yes.
Remember, we talked about this challenge together, the unplugged challenge. Since 2018, I've done 6 different versions. I work with people who said, I'm extremely tired. I need help. I say, okay, here's what we're going to do. First step first. You're just going to sign up for this unplugged challenge. It's going to be for 20 days. You're going to dedicate 20 minutes a day, and it's going to allow you to claim back 20 hours a week. Pretty basic.
Hmm.
What I found is that most people say yes because they have no choices. They feel trapped. But after a few days, they run away.
Yes. It is the
So
nature of addiction, perhaps, is it not?
it's an addiction. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's why I'm saying that. I'm using a very complex language to go back to the basic. Can we can we see it as an addiction?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we understand, accept, and assume that this thing is exactly like smoking, exactly like drinking? There is no differences. Now,
Hmm.
sure, some doctors will disagree, will say, oh, it's not recognized publicly, so we're not allowed to make any diagnosis of any kind. The DSM-5 doesn't recognize it, or it does piece by piece.
What's that? That's the psychiatric handbook, isn't it? The DSM.
Yes, the DSM-5, the big Bible, so
Yes.
that
Okay. Yeah.
when the professionals have access to the resources that are in the DSM-5, they
Yeah.
can then give you a clear understanding of the pathology behind the choices you make.
And I've
So
heard of
we talk about
and a pharmaceutical drug to deal with it. That would be one.
voila, voila.
That would
And
be one.
that's what we don't know now.
Yes.
It remains vague on purpose by the World Health Organization because they're waiting to find the magic pill to
Yeah.
fix us. It reminds me of a movie. Do you remember the movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale?
I don't know.
You definitely want to watch that. It was like in the future, and it's the same than the book from the Huxley, Brave New World.
Okay. Yeah.
The world of dystopia where people are so disconnected, they don't even realize they're disconnected. And we're
Ooh,
getting there slowly but surely. And
you
everyone,
okay? I thought you was going to say we are there now. But I guess
um, I
we're
would
borderline
be,
in many ways, aren't we?
I'm, you know, I'm cautious when I use that kind of language because a lot of people clearly show signs that they're disconnected from their emotions, from their body. We talk about cognitive dissonance all the time. We see the rise of narcissism. We see the big disconnect between what we really need and what we do to get it.
All right, I
Um,
take your point. I take your point. Have a great weekend, Andero. And yes, follow T-Duck's advice and smash that like button, folks. It's good to see more people than usual here this morning, and I'll put your comments onto the screen as they come in. Matty remembers that movie. Everyone was born in a lab and no natural births anymore. At birth, your job was already assigned. We're
yeah,
not far from that. I saw some quite shocking. A shocking news piece yesterday. I think the person in charge of obstetrics, probably a man, in Portugal, said there are no safe home births, and this is all part of that move, isn't it? Into
yeah.
I think into that Christian Bale
And
world.
that's why I bring equilibrium
Yes.
as part of this conversation because now it is official that there's going to be some AI that will carry the baby, and there's a system in
Oh,
place
stop
that
it,
will.
Eric. Okay, and
Yeah,
you think that it's going to take an intervention of the kind we had on April. It's great that you remember the date. And what's the Portuguese word? There was a Portuguese word for blackout, wasn't there? Which somebody will tell us in the chat. But it's your suspicion, perhaps, then, if people won't intervene in their own addiction, we could say borderline addiction, then some external event is required for that. What was occurring to me while you were talking about it was, and this whole thing of boredom, because it's a difficult one, I think, isn't it? It's like the reframe we were talking about with Coach Turner. Let's do bite-sized exercise. Let's break away mindfully from what we're doing and do something physical. And in that way, we can, over the day, we'll end up doing half an hour, maybe an hour's exercise in total. I mean, it makes it not only psychologically manageable, but psychologically attractive. And we seem to be playing this game with our mind all the time, don't we? It's to please our mind
yeah,
rather than to please our true selves, and that's all part of this, isn't it? And it's
yeah.
it's funny because I saw a hilarious sketch. It was like Downton Abbey, and a girl around the dining table says, "Can we all stop looking at our phones?" And it's like I don't know, an Edwardian family looking at phones this big on the table in front of them, and she's making all the jokes that people do now about cell phones, about mobile phones, and it's in the way that comedy shows us how silly we can be. It's a perfect example of that. But we do I'm resonating with you. We do have to kind of get into that boredom state, perhaps, or of not doing anything, of maybe not even thinking, because the idea of it being boredom is a thought. We
Yeah.
don't have to sit there thinking, I'm not liking this, I'm bored. There must be a way, presumably, of not doing anything without judging it as boredom, perhaps. I mean, and I know you've got some experience in that. How do you reframe that? How do we condition ourselves away from the terror, the fear of being still and not having our minds engaged? I suppose would be one way of putting it. Apagal.
Well, remember the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out.
Yes.
What if I miss something important?
Yeah.
I think that's the first step. Because when you realize that a couple of years ago, scientists made a declaration saying that most people that are consumed on their screen night and days
Hmm.
are experiencing now the ROMO, the reality of missing out.
I've not heard that before. Right. Okay.
So I created a term that I use in my presentations called phone, FONE, the fear of not existing. And when you look at Buddhism, because I've been practicing, I've been exploring different uh, form of spirituality to really understand what's the view coming from other. I think it's important to not be limited to one view, but also understand other forms of view. Um, and when you understand that this is the fear we have, this fear of detachment, the fear of not being who we think we are, and
Yeah.
that's the ego. We're driven by this idea, this avatar, this is who I am. And then you make a story out of that, the making meaning machine. And we both did landmark, so we know about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you sit in a place of emptiness, then everything is possible. You tap into a world of infinite possibilities. You're not limited to just one condition or one environment. And transcendental meditation, again, it's an example of that. So
Mm.
I think that once people start to open up and explore different ways, they understand that perhaps my way is okay, but there's other possibilities out of that.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think quantum physics touch on it deeply, you know.
Yes, well, there's a lot of help around. There's a lot of insight around. In the time, perhaps, when we have this most terrifying scenario that you speak
Yeah.
of, we also have the most incredible tools available to us, and that's the genius of humanity, I suppose, or the universe, to offer balance. It's there if we want it, and you're helping people one to one, presumably, if they want to go through and be supported in a program with you of freeing up. How many hours a week did you say, or
20
a month?
hours a week. And it's easy
20.
because once you do the evaluation, I
Yeah,
always I will have it made public on
yeah,
your platform by the end of next week. Um, when people realize that they spend an average of 15 hours a week scrolling,
yeah,
we're talking about being counterproductive. We're not talking about something that is designed to support you in any forms of task.
yeah,
Just finding ways to pass time, killing time, as we
yeah,
say in Asia. You're like, wow, okay. Because the idea to just walk plain, for most people, it's unbearable because a lot of people struggle with
terrible.
social
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yes.
Okay. And the idea to walk on a main street without looking at something, it's very, uh, it's
Yeah.
it's unconceivable somehow. The
Yes.
same with this constant impulsive reaction to take your phone out of your pocket, like almost like a gun when we were
Gatekeepers.
watching cowboys and Western movies,
Yes. 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 Yes.
always ready to shoot. In a moment where you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm missing something at the
Yeah.
cash, waiting for the bus, when
Yeah.
you're about to cook, when you go to the toilet, what's that about? And when you
Well,
just put 5 minutes a day for 7 days, just for that, that's part of the evaluation. You realize that 35 minutes went by just like that. And that's just
indeed.
an example.
Yes, well, talking to you has made me more conscious about that, and I have a second thought now as when I go, because I have got into that instinctive, or had got into that instinctive, get the phone out in a quiet moment, and I choose not to sometimes as well. So I thank you for that, Eric. Thank you for being here, and maybe we don't have time to get into it now, but as you say, you'll be creating a program that we'll put into the Portugal Club as well to help
Yeah.
people free up more quality time. Use it as you wish, but presumably the idea is to go from the reality of missing out, the fear of missing out, into enjoying your life to the fullest, which is what we're all about here in Portugal with the Good Morning Portugal endeavor. And yeah, the AI conversation, I mean, to me, that's the latest part of this. We went from perhaps just being into needing to be distracted, which became our thinking, and then our thinking found an outside expression in the computers and the information that was now in a mirror back to us. We were thinking, and now we were seeing our thinking made manifest, and now that's all on social media, and now that's being brought to life to an even greater level with AI. So it's like our whole thinking process is now in the process of being externalized and shown to us, and I think we've got a quite a clear choice coming up. We have the opportunity to disengage from that completely and be free and let the machines get on with it and let them carry the heavy load, or we will get immersed and consumed into it. Do you see it quite as harshly as that, perhaps?
Well, I want this conversation to start by asking, okay, what is it that exists after AI in terms of intelligence? Because many people don't even know that there is other possibilities
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get the answers you're looking for. We talk about emotional intelligence, but we forgot that there's 12 forms of intelligence that exist. environmental, musical, spatial, and so on.
Yes.
And when you go there, you're like, wow. So
And you can't
there's
go
no
there,
way.
can you? If you're jammed up, if your frequencies are blocked on something,
Yeah,
you're not freed up to allow an engagement with those levels of.
because right now we're at the mercy of the algorithm. Uh, Chatbot is not something that just happened like that. The same
Yeah.
way than the web in 1989. The internet was built 20 years before by what? Corporations, the greatest
Yeah.
corporation, government, uh, uh, and any banks, whatever you have in mind, the army, they were controlling the economy, public opinion, and so way in advance. So
Yeah.
when the web came out, it was to serve the same purpose, which is why 90% is the dark web. So
Well,
today, it's not about arguing with it. It's not about saying there's something wrong with me. I hope people understand today. It's not about saying I must try to control myself. Forget that. It's an addiction by design. It was creating on purpose. Now it's to step back and look for the wellness by design, which is my methodology, right?
woohoo! Okay, let's
And
do that, and perhaps the inward trajectory is, and why we avoid it as well. Here's another aspect on that. I think,
that's a big
Eric,
part, a
if,
big
if
piece.
if you'll forgive me, but perhaps why we want to be engaged and have our frequencies jammed and have our awareness locked onto something is to avoid the reality of our inner terrain.
Escapism, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the past is stored, isn't it? And I was delighted to see this. I mean, it might be a sort of clunky connection to this, but I think once you start getting still, stuff comes up, and that's why it makes it a little bit unattractive to be still sometimes. If you want help with that, and this is, I think it was Aleem in our community who said this is an amazing event that's coming up. Some very well, Dr. Aleem was saying, trauma healing very important now in the world. This is a great event. How to finally heal the pain you carry inside? Question mark. Dr. Bessel, Van der Kolk, Dr. Gabor Mate. I think both you and I are fans. Marissa Peer. Some of you will have heard of her. Tim Fletcher, a trauma recovery and addiction specialist. This is a free online event happening next week in our time zone as well, 7 p.m. in the evenings. First ever 3-day event, 100% free and online. Limited spots available. I will put the link to it into the chat. What do you think of that, Eric, before we go this morning?
Well, before we go, I just say this: you cannot heal from the same environment that made you sick, which explained my journey of self-discovery, where I found the natural antidote and so on.
Yeah.
But the point is this: for people to really find a solution to a problem, okay, that doesn't seem to end, is to step out of the environment that is creating that. And that's the reason why I chose to go to San Martino to explore different possibilities.
Mm.
Because the more you are in this kind of environment, okay, the more you can support people in their journey to recovery, full recovery. The Global Wellness Institute just announced that recovery is now one of the biggest trends. And
Yeah.
my question goes directly to the people there that says, but what about online addiction? They talk
Yes.
about booze, they talk about the cigarettes, they talk about everything you can imagine, but
Yes.
there's no room for online addiction.
It
And
might
it's a
be the
serious
elephant.
issue.
It might be the elephant in the room at the moment. And we're not, the irony of us being online talking to each other has not
By all
escaped.
means, always, it will always be. And then I want to say something. Offline Club just
Yeah.
landed in Lisbon.
Did
Okay.
it?
Yeah, on
Wow.
September 30th, I will make a promotion for them.
Yes,
They
please
are
do.
doing their first event in a park. And as Leah is the founder, he said, Leah, it's quite ironic because we have 550K followers on Instagram. Yeah, we are encouraging people to unplug. And I'm
Well,
in the same position.
can you be our monitor of this and share those things in the
I will
Portugal
do
Club?
that for you.
Please do that. Have your own thread there and update us on these things. And we look forward to your program of helping people find 20 hours a week by a simple bit of unplugging
Yeah.
with your support. So, bon vie semana and birthday wishes.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
returns, and here's to a great year for you ahead, Eric. Thank you for joining us this morning. Bon vie semana. Ciao, ciao, mate.
Don't forget to think outside the box. That's where the answers are.
Outside the box, everybody. All right, there he goes. Up there in Porto.